The college bribery scandal. How did an FBI operation uncover this million-dollar college scheme? And is cheating that serious? Hi, welcome to America Uncovered. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and turn that notification bell on so you can be the first to watch our new episodes. Now, we all want to invest in our hypothetical children's futures, like little Chris Jr. here. But sometimes parents can take it too far, like all the way to jail. Take the recent college admissions scandal. It was the largest admissions scam ever uncovered by the Department of Justice. Starting in 2011, a group of very rich parents spent a lot of money to get their kids into college. We're not talking about money spent on old-fashioned tuition, which is already expensive enough that some students even joke about getting run over for it. Don't try that at home, kids. Or other people take out huge student loans that will haunt them for decades. Don't try that at home either, kids. No, this time we're talking about money being used to illegally manipulate the system so that kids get into colleges where they probably wouldn't make it by themselves. In total, there were 50 people involved in this large-scale fraud. Some of them were business leaders, some were athletic coaches, and some were famous actors. And that's why everywhere you look, there's a face of somebody you recognize. One of those rich and famous parents is Loughlin. Loughlin played Aunt Becky in the classic American sitcom of the 90s, Full House.
You're kidding. You're kidding! You're kidding! He's kidding.
No, I'm not kidding. I would also add that she appears in the completely unwatchable reboot of the show Fuller House, but that's probably not happening anymore. Lori Loughlin and her family have kind of become the faces of this scandal, but their family is just one of dozens who were part of the scheme. The FBI organized a sting called Operation Varsity Blues to uncover how these rich parents collectively paid $25 million worth of bribes through this man, William Rick Singer. He looks so sad because the FBI accused him of being the head of the entire scheme. He became the FBI's cooperating witness in September 2018 after all signs in their investigation pointed to, well, him. Singer had a business called the Edge College and Career Network. It's known as the Key, short for the Key Worldwide Foundation, a nonprofit organization also owned by Singer. The Key was a private college prep counseling service for the world's most respected families.
My Key method unlocks the full potential of your son or daughter and sets them on a course to excel in life.
Hopefully they don't need to excel in video production. Anyway, it turns out that some of Singer's Key methods go beyond life coaching. According to court documents, Singer was using the Key Worldwide Foundation as a front so that wealthy parents could pay him and his associates to unlock the full potential of helping kids cheat on standardized tests, and falsely presenting kids as top-flight athletes. Meanwhile, the money was funneled through the foundation so that no one, like the government, could catch on and start collecting taxes. And because the whole thing was totally illegal. See, parents paid a lot of money that ultimately went toward bribes. In Singer's testimony to federal prosecutors, he said that he created a side door that guaranteed families that a student would get into college. In Singer's analogy, a front door is where a student can try and get into college on their own merit, and a back door is where families make large donations to a school, which is legal. So a family would call on Singer if, let's say, the front door is really crowded and their kid is not that good at stairs, so they might not get in. And the back door is really expensive and their kids still might not get in. But the side door is less expensive and it's guaranteed. Singer had two side door methods. The first one was to make up fake athletic profiles, including photoshopping the faces of the applicants onto images of athletes found on the internet. Some kids just weren't as athletic as I was in high school. One parent paid Singer $1.2 million to get her daughter into Yale University. The head coach of the Yale women's soccer team was bribed to recruit that student even though she wasn't even a soccer player. And then we have Aunt Becky's twin boys, Lori Loughlin's daughters, Olivia and Isabella Giannulli. Their father is fashion designer Massimo Giannulli. Loughlin and Giannulli are accused of paying more than $500,000 in bribes for their daughters to be recruited by the University of Southern California rowing team. Except they don't row. That money went straight into, you guessed it, the Key Worldwide Foundation. Part of that money was used to bribe an athletic director at USC. That director was indicted too. Loughlin and Giannulli then paid Singer $400,000 when Olivia and Isabella received their admission letters to USC. Olivia is a social media influencer with millions of YouTube and Instagram followers. And she wasted no time in proving to her fans that she really cares about her education.
Like game days, partying, I don't really care about school, as you guys all know.
You know, she really should be more grateful for all the hard work and sacrifices her parents made to bribe her way into school. Speaking of bribery, Rick Singer's second side door method involved standardized testing. In the U.S., high school students take one of two college admissions tests, the SAT or the ACT. The point of these tests is to gauge how well students have mastered standard high school subjects like reading and math. Just kidding. The point of these tests is for you to remember your score for the rest of your life. I'm pretty sure mine was over 9,000. Anyway, a low score could keep you out of the college of your dreams. That's why these tests are so stressful. And that's where Singer comes in. He makes all of that stress go away with candles and meditation and arranging for you to take the test with proctors that he bribed. And those proctors would just change the answers after the student turned the test in. What a miracle worker. Now Singer has pled guilty to counts of racketeering, money laundering, conspiracy to defraud the United States, and obstruction of justice. All of the other people involved face similar charges, but there's one group of people who will not face consequences. Legal consequences, that is. According to federal prosecutors, many of the kids did not know what was going on. And Singer said during his court hearing that some students took their standardized tests normally. They had no idea their answers would be corrected later. Unfortunately, this scandal now prevents some students from registering for classes or getting official transcripts. Some schools are even considering taking away degrees from graduates involved in the scheme. And if you're wondering what happened to those fake athletes when it came time to perform, it probably went something like this.
I good.
Little Michelle is so adorable. So apart from the fact that so much money was spent to game the educational system, why is this scandal such a big deal? Well, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of importance is placed on standardized testing. More than 2 million students took the SAT last year. The number of students applying to college has doubled in the last 40 years, so naturally the admissions have grown more competitive. Meanwhile, standardized tests have been accused of disproportionately benefiting wealthier students whose parents can afford to pay for tutors, test books, and private counseling services. As a result, some universities have changed their test policies. More than 1,000 schools no longer require students to submit a standardized test score with an application. The National Center for Fair and Open Testing, or FAIR Test for short, is a vocal advocate for an admissions process free of testing. The director of FAIR Test says that a test-optional system increases diversity at colleges because how students did in high school predicts undergraduate success better than any standardized exam. And according to a study published by Johns Hopkins, 28 schools with a test-optional policy reported an increase in Black and Hispanic applicants. And students who did not submit standardized test scores graduated at about the same rate as those who did, although they had a rougher start. In the wake of the bribery scandal, the creators of the SAT and the ACT released a statement defending the tests as fair measures for the vast majority of students who don't cheat. And in 2016, the College Board reported that a student's SAT score can predict how well they will perform in college-level courses. But some don't see it that way. Steve Siverson is a university vice chancellor who filed the Johns Hopkins report on test-optional schools. He says the strongest predictor of a student's test scores is their parents' affluence in education. And he believes that stress over testing pushes a myth that only some schools are worth fighting for, or even cheating for. We'll have to see if there is further fallout from the college admissions scandal. But for now, I think we can all agree the parents, coaches, and administrators involved in this long-standing scheme should face the same judge.
You're in big trouble, mister.
There's no telling if Michelle's punishment for their crimes will be gentle. So what do you think about the college bribery scandal? Leave your comments below. And remember, America Uncovered is funded mainly through direct support from viewers like you. So head over to patreon.com/AmericaUncovered to pledge $1 or more per episode so we can keep making great content like this. Once again, I'm your host, Chris Chappell. See you next time.